Hey everyone, we are back here at Expona 2023. We are here with our good friend Joe Madonia. Joe, we had a really good conversation earlier. I want to maybe visit some of the things we talked about for our viewers that I think would really resonate with a lot of audiophiles out there. So let's just start off by, can you tell us a little bit about your audiophile journey? Where did you start?
Yeah, where I started was a young musician. Really got into sound about the fifth grade. It was either Something New by the Beatles or A Nod Is As Good As a Wink to a Blind Horse by Faces, because I love Stay With Me. It was all about the guitar tone. So that brought me to my trip here, which was half business, but also it was half that search we are all on, that search for the holy grail in the way of audio, in the way of sound, in the way of guitar tone, and all of that. So I bit the bullet and always was into headphones, from the studio to just listening. But I really bit the bullet the last couple of years into really premium headphones. And so, I, like a lot of us, am down that audiophile blogosphere till 3 in the morning watching you and watching,
I'm sorry.
a lot of the great things we all watch to get a little better sound, right? To just kind of do that incremental, sometimes very expensive step that really you want to mean something to us in the way we listen to sound, beyond what some reviewer says sounds this way or that.
Right.
So I bit the bullet, and among some of the other headphone purchases, I really liked the staging and the sound of the focals. So I got a pair of Celestes, which I'm sorry, but I love them as much as any of the ones they do.
Hey, they're great headphones.
As much as the Stellias. But I also bit the bullet and bought a new pair of Utopias. And they really sound phenomenal. And they really do bring out, as so many headphones do, so many little things in these records we've loved that are holy grail records that we've listened to for years. And that experience of hearing that different sound and that engaging, fun listening, it's worth everything.
Absolutely.
So in that, I'm talking to a friend of mine who happens to be named Joe Madonia as well, which is another story. But he has a pair of the Stellias, he has a pair of the Utopias, and he was telling me about your cables.
Okay.
And so, I really went down the search, watching your videos, reading the reviews, and first off, there were such amazing reviews, but I thought there's no way. I've just spent thousands of dollars on headphones. There's no way I'm going to be spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars more on cables, because I don't think they're really going to sound that different. You sure would think for the price that Focal is giving us about a premium of cable as they can.
Yeah, right.
So I came out here yesterday and was excited first to see you guys here. And from the videos, because I am a giant fan of the videos.
Oh, thank you.
And I appreciate what you guys are doing for us in terms of your just objective view and the enjoyment you guys have of the same thing we do of audio.
We love doing it.
It comes through and it's great. It's that kindred spirit that brings us all together. So I came back with my cables to my Utopias, the two different ones, the Utopias, and to my Celestes. So I was going to do some very serious A-Bing to save myself $1,000 on cables.
Right. Yeah, sure.
So because I knew that they would sound really pretty much the same and there wouldn't be that much of a difference.
Right.
So, much to my chagrin and almost pleasant disappointment, I listened to them and I A-B'd them, and I got to tell you, there's a difference. There is a difference. And in terms of the imaging, in terms of the sound staging, but just in terms of the edge of the instrument and the sound, it really was amazing to me.
It's funny, I was actually back here working on the live blog, and I could hear Joe listening to Beatles. He was jamming out to, what was it, The Ends? You were jamming out to Dr. Robert. I was singing along. Ross was telling me to be quiet. It was great. So, so you're listening to these tracks. What do you hear that's different that you didn't really notice before?
Moving to the Focals was really a revelation in terms of sound, in terms of moving more towards that live experience. And I'm a musician, I work in the industry, I've been in and out of studios and seen a million shows like all of us. They brought you closer to that, but really it brought you closer to that live sound. And it wasn't only the imaging was a little better. The separation between the instruments and the sound staging was a little bit better. was really good already with the focals and the headphones.
Right,
but the
right.
real difference, and for all of you out there that want to give this a shot, the end, Beatles, Abbey Road, for me, the particular thing of that is the sound of the drums. When they start beating on those drums, that rounded sound of drums is really good on that. And that really is one thing to me in terms of difference in headphones.
Yeah.
The Silver Dragons and the Blue Dragons for the Celestia, they sounded better, they sounded more live. I mean, I don't even know how you guys are doing it or what's in the cable, but they sounded more live, they sounded more real from already something that I thought was at like 90%.
Sure.
Maybe it was at 70%, and these are now like at a 99. A tangible, noticeable difference in that feel of the resonance of the drum was amazing. And Dr. Robert, for me, as a guitar player, I love the guitar tone. I love the guitar tone. There's different mixes of that you can listen to. But that mid-range guitar tone, they were using these crazy Vox amps that were another legendary story, I believe the 700 series. But it's just an amazing guitar tone in that. And then the vocals next to that.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I know that song so well. But the sound and the mix of the instruments coming together were at the same time the separation of, you know, the vocals over here and the guitar over here.
Sure, yeah.
It really was amazing, and it really, really did bring me much closer to that live experience.
Yeah.
And it really was like we're sitting there, and there they are with those amps playing it live. That's an amazing thing. And, you know, you think a lot of times you got to spend, you know, from $500 to maybe $2,500 in my CD or SAC in the old days to $25,000 or $50,000 to get to this esoteric level. You know, I spent a lot of money on these headphones, but the thing that really brought it over the edge to me to that live, engaging, just fun experience was the cable. It was worth every cent I spent, and I wouldn't say it if I didn't come off this feeling of getting that much closer to the natural live experience.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think the thing that stands out for me when I kind of A/B test cables, it's finding those little nuances that make just enough difference to change the entire energy of the whole song.
Absolutely.
So, you know, but that's you know really what I love about audio shows is, you know, you have these ideas of what something is or what something sounds like, but you don't, you know, at audio shows, this is the only place you have the opportunity to go and listen to the gear that you want to try out.
Yeah.
And you have these experiences where, you know, sometimes you're proven right and sometimes you're proven wrong.
Yeah, you're so right. It was so easy for me to not bite the bullet, even though you can get cables from you guys and return them if you don't like it, which is great. It still didn't push me over the edge to bite the bullet to spend that much more on cables when I already spent so much on headphones.
Yeah.
So it was really, really worth it here. But I would urge anyone to try it and A/B it, because nothing makes any sense in this crazy audio world we're in, searching for that holy grail.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell us what's right or wrong. The only thing that matters, how does it sound to us?
Absolutely.
Right? For me, I like the sound of the Celestis as well as maybe a little better than the Stellias. The Stellias sound, they have a wider image, they're more defined. I like that bassy, slammy sound stage
For sure.
of those.
Yeah.
But then I can turn to the Utopias, which have that thing the Stellias have. But what I'm trying to say to everyone, there's no right or wrong. The only right or wrong is what we perceive.
Absolutely.
Forget about if this contains that or that contains that. How does it sound to you? And the opportunity to A/B your own cables with those, that's the only thing that we'll say. The thing is, if they don't sound better, you can send them back,
Yep.
which is a really, really great thing for a very high-end product
Absolutely.
like that.
It's not
but
hard.
if they do, I know what's going to happen. You are going to do this just like I did, wanting to say that there's going to be no difference and there's going to be a revelation. And, you know, now I'm thinking of getting even more headphones for different kinds of
There
things
you
and
go.
cables.
Well,
Actually,
Joe-
now what I'm thinking of are your interconnects. So don't even get me started on
Okay,
that.
I mean, we could do a whole nother video on
Yeah,
that
stop
later.
me
for
there.
sure.
I gotta make some money to, pay for these cables, and it was money well spent.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciated you jamming out to some Beatles so that I could sing along, and I'm really glad that you had a great experience here.
That's great. And the other thing I want to say really quickly too, which was really great
sure.
in terms of spending my money on something. I thought, I hate to say, I saw Moon Audio, and I thought Moon Audio is the offshoot of some Japanese conglomerate. Nothing against the Japanese, love the Japanese audio, take on audio, or some billionaire, that has this as an offshoot. And it's a great family-owned business of a bunch of really great and interesting, fun characters that love music, and it really is like a family vibe.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that, and I really felt good spending my money for a company like that.
Well, thank you.
It's
yeah,
really great.
we are like a small family, and we love what we do, and for us, music is foremost the most important thing of why we're here and what brings us all together.
Yeah,
So,
it's what we love.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Joe, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, we're at Axpona 2023. If you want to know more about what's going on here, check out our live blog. We'll be posting it, updating it throughout the weekend, so be sure to check that out. Thank you very much, Joe, for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
And we hope you enjoy your cables.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.